Well, it may seem like we only really do learning in classrooms and there's not a lot of chemistry or anything deeper that happens to it. It's just studying day in and day out. There's a lot of chemistry that goes into actually learning. So let's start with the basics. The first main component of learning is, of course, the brain itself. Let's get a little deeper. The neuron is a building block of our brain. We call these things nerve cells or brain cells, and an important part of the brain cell is how they communicate, and they communicate using the part called a synapse. A synapse is a space between these neurons used for sending information to one part of the brain or another. Now that we have the structure of the brain understood, let's look at what makes the chemical reaction occur. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that trigger electrical impulses inside the brain. Some everyday examples include serotonin, which affects mood and appetite, norepinephrine, which regulates stress, and acetylcholine, which controls muscle contraction in the body. So now let's see how these things all work together. First, you start by creating new information when you're very, very young, and this is called neurogenesis. Then, when you want to retrieve information in your brain, it sends an electrical impulse to the end of a nerve, starting a chain reaction. This electrical signal triggers a neurotransmitter chemical to be released and diffused across the synapse. The receptor on the other side receives the neurotransmitter, which triggers another electrical impulse. This process repeats until your brain sends the message to receptors to stop it. We can broaden this even further. When the learning actually begins, from anything to memorizing notes, to building a computer, to hitting a home run, this exchange happens all over your brain. At first it goes slowly and the electrical impulse stops more frequently because you don't know what to do next. I call this the molasses stage. After a lot of practice, the synapses fire more quickly, and relevant stored information can be more readily accessed. This is the aha moment, where you can tell the information is connecting. Congrats, you've learned something. Your synapses are firing almost simultaneously. If you want to do more learning, go to chemistryislife.com for more great resources.